Okay, package with guitar parts arrived today. Let's see. How we made out. I stuck that on there. So let's give her a strip across the top. Without going too deep. And try to get her open and see what lies inside. Okay. Packing slip. Paperwork. Knife over there. Oh, let's move them down this way. So we have here the Tele neck, vintage gold. Neoven Tele set. That's some good bubble. In there is a bridge, neck plate, and control plate. Here we have some pots, a jack, a cup, the ferrules, and knobs for the control panel. The copper strips for shielding. And the main part, a body which they looks like they untaped and didn't retape. And with any luck, it's nice. Okay, we got her out of the sleeve. The finishing looks nice on the top, around the sides, in the bottom. Ooh, there's a nice knot there. That's nice. And some more knotwood there. All the way around. It's nice and smooth. The back is also very nice. There's a small little dip there in the little pip as well there. Doesn't seem to be too orful. I'm going to stick that in the box for now. Move it over there. I got all the stuff unboxed, and looking at what's left, the body alone in that box, seems like Everything on the order sheet is here except item number 1, which is the Wilkinson tuners for the headstock. Which is a bit of a problem. The gold on the control plate is very nice. The gold on here is it's nice, but there's kind of like a pattern in the gold, like maybe like the plastic that the screws that came with it. Hardware pots, the jack cup, capacitors, the knobs seem nice. The bridge has a good plating on the top and less worried about on the bottom as they normally would. But major issue, no Wilkinson tuners. Pickups I looked at, and they're in the box. So, got to get back to the supplier about this. So here we are, the beginning of the project. This gold conductive shielding tape needs to be put inside each one of the cavities where the electronics will go. So I will need to cut and measure and completely encapsulate the inside holes. Since I need all my hands to do that, we will do it off camera. Okay, so the neck cavity is fully covered in copper all the way around. The stuff is a little difficult to work with since it's very thin metal with adhesive on the back, and you need to have a good contact all the way around, and the lip has to contact with the ring. So there's number 1. I did the smaller one first as a practice. I'm hoping the lip I left will be covered by the trim ring when I get it. Unfortunately, it was missing in the shipment of parts, and I didn't have it here to check how much lip I could put without anything showing. Worst comes to worst, I'll need to cut the lip off and redo it later. Hopefully not. Next, I'll tackle the bridge cavity. So we've done the work on the bridge cavity. A little bit light there. Nice copper all the way around. Punctured the feed-through holes for the wiring. Yeah, had a really thin lip around this one. I do have the bridge. As it turns out, on this end and the top end up here, the bridge is extremely close to the edge of that hole, so I left the lip off up there for now, and it should be okay as far as grounding goes. There's enough of it there. And make no mistake, this copper is paper thin. Unfortunately, it's also bad for thumbs and fingers that you may run it across the edge and get a cut like a razor blade. Caution is important. And okay, there it is, the control cavity completely covered in. Oh, I forgot to puncture the hole for the jack plate. I will do that. Back to the neck and the bridge. And so as part of the wiring, I have to electrically connect all of these 3 locations. Other than that, that's about all I can do for right now until I receive more parts. The neck from Guitar Fetish arrived today. Was well packed, and from a visual perspective, it is quite lovely. The wood grain on the neck is very nice. The headstock is also very nice. The gloss on the fingerboard is quite impressive. The frets along the side are nicely dressed, no sharp edges whatsoever. The entire length of the neck. One can only hope that the truss rod and the rest of it, when I check it over, will be straight, and that I won't have to do much in the way of any fret work at all. If possible, I have a measuring tool on order as of today to check the straightness of the neck, and some tools to work on frets if necessary. See about the nut. It looks reasonable for a Chinese neck. We'll have to see how it works out when I get some strings on it to see if the height between the nut, the first, second, and third frets are correct. Yep, for a $60 neck from Guitar Fetish, built in China, it looks pretty nice from a aesthetic point of view. Downstairs at the work table, I attempted to put the neck into the body, and it doesn't fit, as the neck is approximately 1/16 of an inch wider than the pocket that has been cut on the body. After measuring, with my trusty ruler, so down here on this side there's not a lot of meat. It's going to need to be opened up. I think I'm going to have to try to find a way to sand off a 1/16 of an inch on this side to see if I can get her to slip in there snugly. I cannot fool around with the polyurethane finish on the neck, as the bottom side will actually sit out here and will be visibly seen on that side of the neck. This side fits in side, but I'd prefer to try to do some sanding in here on plain wood trying not to chip this surface and this very sharp edge here, which will mate very, very nicely with the neck. I keep running into anomalies with this. I believe that the finish on the neck made it just a little bit oversized for the exact routing in the neck. So they say the spec is 2 3/16 inches, and if you route both pieces of wood 2 3/16 inches, if you don't accommodate for the thickness of the finish and or a small tolerance in the routing there in the neck pocket, it won't go in. So with my local hardware store, I bought a sanding stick, a disc I should say, that has the stick it on the back, made a block. I found exactly 5/8 block, which is the depth. They said it was the depth. And I actually measured the pocket here, and the pocket here is 5/8, and my dowel is just about, I'd say, let's look at it. Yeah, she's about 1/8 over. Oh no, I'm wrong. I bought the one that was actually 1/8 larger, so I would be able to get just up over the lip a little bit, like that as I was sanding, so it would get even and up over the edge a little bit. So as you can see, I masked off all of the body of the guitar so I wouldn't screw it up in any way, and around the edges very carefully. I'll find out how well I did, especially up here in the edges where it's very, very sharp, and the finish is very, very easy to chip here. I made sure that I got masking tape there. I put all around the bottom as well. The bottom of the pocket was a little bit rough, so I sanded that off just a little bit as well. So what I did was I got a 180 sanding disc, and I started working on it with the stick-it on this side, and I found that it wasn't going fast enough. So what I thought about was, well, I'll take some 100 that I have, and I'm just going to staple the back end and the front end of it. Give me a little round corner. The round corner at the top of this one allowed me to actually get right in the corner here and get around here, smooth that off as well on both sides, and then use the 180 on the stick-it side to just smooth it off and make it a nice smooth sides to give it less friction to try to get the slick side in. And now the pocket fits in very snugly. We'll go all the way to the bottom, and that's the first part. The second part will be aligning this neck and making sure that the actual angle, once I get the bridge and the other things mounted for action and the stuff is good the way it's routed. I have the sensation that the back end of the pocket down here at the body part is a little bit higher than it is down here, making the neck maybe sit back a little bit. And I'm not sure if that's the way guitars normally do it. Can't tell from my other guitars that are already mounted, but we'll find out as we go forward.